Okay. Happy Friday. It is July 30th, 2021, and a few things I want to cover with you today. Hopefully, you caught the last video where we were talking about the POA. We're talking to the president of the POA, Cliff Weiner, and we were connecting on emergency services. Actually, a really good video. So if you didn't catch that, it's the one prior to this. Just look up Cliff Weiner and POA. We covered that last time. So good stuff. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm Glenn Stein, obviously with Realty Executives in the Villages on the Realty Executives in the Villages channel. So hope you're doing well. Wanted to cover several things. There's three things I wanted to cover today. One, we're going to cover the 7-day numbers. Two, we're going to cover what's on the market and where. What can you buy today? But also want to talk to you about where I think the fall market is going to go. I've had a lot of conversations on a daily basis. I talk to my agents here, my realtors here. And by the way, there is a difference between agent and realtor in the Villages. And I think I've done that before. But if you have questions about that, just leave a comment in the chat. Let me know. We are doing this live, but also I'm checking on any questions you have. By the way, you can always just ask them, and I'd love to hear what you're thinking about, what you're seeing in your marketplace. If you're not in the Villages, if you're not in, well, if you are in Florida, let me know what you're seeing specifically. It'd be really fascinating to hear that. But I'm connecting with a lot of people, not just my agents, but my agents' clients. I'm also hearing from a lot of I coach a lot of realtors around the country, so I'm hearing from them and what they're seeing. I was actually part of a mastermind group about an hour and a half ago this afternoon where they were talking about what they're seeing around the country. And essentially, we'll start from the macro, right? Let's talk about what's going on around the country. And I think it's kind of similar to what we're seeing here and even in some areas in Florida, which is a little bit of a slowdown in the marketplace, which we're going to address in a minute. And we've been talking about this last 3 to 4 weeks, where the inventory here in the Villages has grown. Like we've gone from upper 40s as far as what's available on MLS to now we're in the kind of mid to upper 70s. And what we're seeing is a lot of the properties that are also with Property of the Villages, similar type inventory, by the way, similar inventory. In fact, we've got a little bit more inventory than them on that side, but we certainly have grown, if you do the math, right, almost a 100% increase in inventory, which is kind of funny to hear. But we've grown by probably about 30 more listings over the last 3 to 4 weeks, which I think has been good. I think that's kind of a healthy sign because we need more of an option and more choices for buyers. And I think we've seen a little bit of a plateauing. And we've been seeing that last 3 4 weeks. So obviously a straight run up in pricing, straight down and inventory. Now we're seeing a little bit of a lifting in inventory and a little bit of plateauing on pricing. So we're going to be paying close attention to inventory, right? That's going to be an indication, right? Like, and you're right at the cusp and right on the front lines on all of this, because what I'm giving you is very frontline information. You're going to be able to tell exactly what's going on well ahead of anybody else anywhere, really. I'll tell you, because I'm sharing with you just really what's going on. So I want to share with you. I'm going to do a share screen. We're going to look at, let's see, let's look at actually this. I wanted to share this. Let me look for, it's not quite that. So I want to share the information I want to share with you is going to be, currently what's on the marketplace at the moment. So I'm going to close out a couple of screens. At the end of the day, I always have like 55 screens open. There's always so much. So let me minimize that and then we can get to it. But of course, just like I said before, if you have questions about what you think you're seeing in your marketplace, or questions about what we're seeing in this marketplace, be happy to talk to you about that. So, all right. So we're going to go through this here. And right now, 73 properties on the market, right? This is what we're seeing. I'm going to blow this up a little bit more so you can see it. Hopefully a little bit better. Yep, 73. You can see that on the bottom, okay? So 73 listings on the market right now. And as you know, we've done this before. There was like, when I first did this about 4 or 5 weeks ago, I could tell that a lot of people are like, what? That's crazy. You're kidding me. That's all we're seeing as far as inventory. And that's when we were in the 40s. So let's take a look at, these are the properties. You're going to organize it by price. Some properties, there's, 12 or 13 properties that you can actually buy in the villages. Most of them are, and I'm going to do a map and a section so you can tell where they are. Most of those are going to be in the historic section, kind of Orange Blossom Hills, Classic Hills area. And then you're going to see some properties in, Sumter County that are going for, actually look at this very interesting anomaly here. There's nothing between 200 and 230, right? This is something really, really unique. So 230 and up. So 230, 235, 249, 250. And then you're seeing all the way through, you get the next 12, 13 properties are actually, all the way up to 300,000. All right. That gives you an idea of what we're looking at. Okay. Let me see if I can blow this up a little bit more. There we go. So I'll keep it here for a little bit. So you can see this is the pricing, current active properties. Okay, that's going to give you a really good idea as to what the market looks like. Okay, so let me shift over and we're going to look at now the 300 to pretty much right around the 500 mark, 300 to 500. You've got about 20, 25 properties that are in that ballpark there. Okay, so I'm going to blow this up so you can see it a little bit better. Right, so you can see that. And then, of course, we start looking at the next wave, which is, 500 plus, right? 500 plus, you got another 25 properties all the way to 1.4 million. Okay, this is what's active. And of course, if you have questions about any of these properties, connect with me, 352-572-3796, 352-572-3796. And we can talk about pretty much anything you want to talk about as far as those properties. So let me go back. We're actually, I want to show you, we're going to go to the map section here. So let me blow this up so you can see, where are these properties? Where are the properties located? So I'm going to take a look at that. So you can see here, the properties, they're in this section here. You're looking at, this is the historic section, which is, the under 200,000, which is, we talked about this before. We did a video on this, on, covering what's close to the VA clinic. A lot of people are interested in that if you're a veteran. And by the way, seeing more success with VA loans. And I had spoken about that. There were some people that were inquiring about VA loans. Can I not buy a home with a VA loan? It was very challenging because of appraisals. I actually have seen 5 that I had a conversation with one of my great agents, one of my great realtors here at Realty Executives, and they were talking about, how they were working. They've had 5 different buyers using VA loans, either for their listings or buyers they were working with. So this area here, obviously, this would be within about 10 minutes of the VA clinic. This is actually Marion County up here. And then you're seeing, this area here is between the 6s. Our office actually literally is the only office that's in the villages address. We're actually right here in the middle. And then you've got between the 6s and then south of 466A to 44 down here, right? This is all this. And then, of course, the new sections. There is one property. Let me see. I'm going to scroll down there. There's one property we do have south of 44 already. And that's, that area is just, at the oldest, a couple of years old in the Finney section. But there's some other areas that are, here's one way down here. Okay. That's south of the Florida Turnpike, just to give you an idea for those people that don't realize the growth of the villages. 2006 is where this was the border, was the southern border. This was the southern border, and 466 was back in 2006. That was it. Now it's grown, last 15 years, it's grown all this, and now lots of construction here in this area here. Coleman down 301. This is Wildwood here. This is technically, they're calling this Wildwood. That's going to be a Wildwood address, but technically it's within the villages. Okay, so that's here. So hopefully that makes sense. That's basically what we're seeing as far as properties on the market and the locations of those properties. That's basically what we're seeing there. Want to share with you before we even leave this. I want to share with you we're going to cover the 7-day numbers. As you can see here, actually kind of light. The last 10 days, last 7 days. Looking at, as you can see here, 10 new listings, right? 10 new listings. We've seen price increases 1, price decreases 8, back on the market 1, 33 closed, sold, no expireds, no surprise, everything is selling, 29 pendings. A little bit of a slower week. So that tells you exactly, it backs up what I'm saying, which is a little bit of a slowdown in the marketplace. I think the market is basically, we're taking a breath, because as I've talked about before, record-setting numbers on sales. So that tells you exactly what's going on, at least this week. What I do want to talk to you about, the last thing I want to cover today is I want to cover, okay, what's the expectation? Based on all the criteria, and I think there's evidence here that we need to talk about that'll tell us where the market is going. Interest rates are always a factor, right? That's the thing. Interest rates still relatively low. Demand is still high around the country. What I'm hearing and seeing now, and we don't know this for sure, but I'm just putting 2 and 2 together, and just intuition, and just the amount of time I've been in this business for 20 plus years, the amount of time I've spent, really watching, paying attention to, tracking, measuring, and looking at numbers. Basically what I see is, I see a little bit of buyer fatigue. I see everybody going on vacation. So anybody that's gone, by the way, if you've gone on vacation or on vacation, comment. I'd love to hear what you're seeing. Like, is it completely bonkers and you're seeing so many people travel right now? I'd like to hear, what you're seeing and where you've gone, because that's what I'm hearing from many, many sources, that it's just crazy. Everybody's vacationing, not just one vacation, but multiple vacations because of COVID, being stuck in their homes, not being able to travel, all the things that we know about across the country. And it's going to be interesting, the impact. We're already hearing some impact about COVID, all the Delta new wave with COVID, and how that's going to impact different places. And I'll tell you just the things that I'm hearing and the people I've talked to. I've got a client in the Cayman Islands that says, okay, the island is not open, not completely to tourists, unless they're going to, still go through I think a 10-day or a 14-day quarantine period. So very limited, no cruise ships going to the Cayman Islands. I know some people that are in France, and they're saying it's open for now, but the word is that it's going to close in September. Italy, the same thing. There's word that possibly can happen. Not sure about Canada. I haven't heard anything about Canada, but it's supposed to open up in August. So maybe, I don't know what's going to happen there. It'd be interesting. So if you're Canadian, you live in Canada, let us know what you're hearing or seeing. That'd be interesting. But overall, that's what we're hearing and seeing in some places around the country, California, and some places like in Pennsylvania, New York, potential shutdowns or closures again down the road. So if that happens, what's the impact? How does that impact our senior market that's mostly vaccinated? And how does that impact people's feelings about wanting to be in the open, wanting to be in a state that's not closed? Because we're hearing just the opposite in Florida, even though, if you listen to the news, they're saying record numbers and all that type of thing. That's still a thing. In our area, we're not seeing anything uniquely different. People aren't behaving any different. I'm hearing most of that maybe further south, maybe Orlando or Tampa or even Miami. If I'm hearing more of that in South Florida as far as COVID cases, but I'm not hearing or seeing anything unusual than what we've seen over the last 18 months here in our area in Central Florida. So I'm not judging. I'm certainly not saying anything like that, but I'm just our market has been impacted by all these events. So where does that leave us in the fall? Where does that leave us in the Villages real estate in the fall 2021? What's going to happen? And the clues I'm using right now, and look, you use the clues as well, which is inventory still ridiculously low. Like 70 is like crazy low considering where we were 400 plus, mid 400s last year. And obviously we've seen such a decline in inventory. That's one factor. Interest rates still low. Demand still pretty strong. Demand is tapered off, but I think demand potentially, this is the one thing we have to pay attention to, has been tapered off because of vacation time, being preoccupied with other things, maybe some buyer fatigue, not wanting to get into multiple offer situations. But I do think that there is an opportunity for buyers now. I just had a conversation with one of our clients in Tampa where there seems to be an opportunity to buy, probably the best opportunity to buy all year. Will it improve? Maybe later on this year, but so far this year, the best opportunity to buy is actually right now with people, not as much competition, We're seeing competition, but not 20 offers, not 4 or 5 offers in the Villages. We're seeing 1 or 2 typically, right? I'm hearing about, a couple of different, it's not no competition, but some competition. So be ready for some competition, but I think you might have a pretty good chance to buy something without a bunch of competition, and maybe you don't have to go as high. Maybe, okay, that's possible depending on what you're trying to buy. I think there's still strong competition with the upper levels of the market, the homes that are on the golf course or have space. That's still very desirable. But it's not so bananas and so crazy. So I think there's opportunity to buy right now. So it's going to be interesting with all of these dynamics, all these things that are going on, what's going to happen. I think we're going to learn a lot in the next 30 to 45 days, which way the market is going to either turn or not turn. Meaning, is it going to go up? We're going to go back to where we were 60 days ago, which is a crazy marketplace with less inventory. Or the market can come down, a healthy landing, right? A healthy landing, meaning we're going to see more inventory, but it's still going to be a very balanced a normal balanced marketplace, so to speak. Or is it going to be a complete disaster and like, okay, market's going to plummet, inventory is going to rise like crazy, and maybe prices will come down fast? Are we going to see that? And by the way, you're going to be able to tell right here every week. We're looking at those numbers. And I know it's almost like looking at the grass like this, like it's like the grass is in front of us and we're watching it grow. But we got the upfront seat, we got front court seats looking at what the market is doing, which I find it's really fascinating. Even if you're not planning on moving or selling or buying, it's still fascinating to watch. So with all that, love to hear your comments. Please send over your comments. Also, if you're planning, if you have any questions, let me know. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't. And I see Snowbound asked how many patio villas and how long to sell. So let's take a look at that again. I think that's a great question. Let's look at the patio villas. Let's take a look at that. So I'm going to pull that up, and time to sell right now. By the way, for the people that are selling, if you are local, by the way, I think this is the advice I'm going to give you actually carries weight no matter where you are, because this is what I'm telling my coaching clients, people I coach around the country, which I think is really true. And I know other coaches are doing the same thing because I was part of that mastermind group I was telling you about. That's what we're covering. And I'll tell you that the advice is, okay, things may not be selling in 3 minutes anymore. It might take 3 weeks. So don't panic. Don't panic if you're selling right now. That, oh my gosh, it's not, we're not getting the same traffic, or maybe you're getting the traffic, but you're not getting the offers, right? And by the way, typically in a normal marketplace, this isn't normal yet. In a normal marketplace, if you're getting no showings, you're usually way overpriced, probably about 10% overpriced. If you're getting a lot of showings but no offers, usually just a little bit, maybe 3 to 5% off in price. Hard to say what those numbers are in today's marketplace, because I'm noticing some people getting are 8, 9, 10 offer, or 8 or 9, 10 showings, real showings, not open house showings, but real showings with buyers, and they're just and then they're getting an offer after that, right? And it's taking a couple of weeks. So let's look at a couple of things here. I'm going to show you, this is a great question, Snowbound, so we're going to cover this. Let me do a share screen with you so you will see what I'm looking at and not just taking my word for it. I think that's important. I'm a big believer in that. Let's take a look. All right, so back to this, right? 73 properties for sale. Most of these, let's look at, typically 1156 will be the patio villas, somewhere in that, square footage range. Looking at, 2, 3, 4, there's a handful, right? I'm seeing probably 5 or 6 that are, under 299. And look at days on market here, right? Just look at the active days on market. 16, 1, 97, 33, 38, 67, 2, 16, 0 just came on the market, 174, 105. This one's been on the market for a while. I'm not sure why. 12, 23, 11, that type of thing. Now, one thing I did do, and I don't know if you guys remember, average days on market in the month of June was 6. Whoa, like average days on market, which is like time of putting it on the market till getting an offer and actually a contract, executed contract, was 6 days in June. It's crazy. Typical. It'd be interesting to see what the July numbers, I'll probably do that in the next couple of weeks, remind me. And it's probably going to be a little bit higher. I would suspect more like 14 days. But if we go back and look at, let's pull up pending properties, 209 pending properties. So I'm going to pull that up, and you start looking at average days on pendings. And it's all the way, it's all across the board, right? Like it's, in the 20s, it's, seeing a lot of single digits here. A lot of single digits, 0, 8, 2, 5, 37, 0, 22, 0, 2, 0, like things sold, in less than a day, 62, 1, right? Especially in this lower price range. And then you can see here, 2, 3, 9, it's there are various numbers here. Let me blow it up a little bit for you so you can see this, right? Like this gives you an idea on this price. These are pending properties. This is how long it took to get under contract. So, average days, I'd say average days for, maybe the typical, patio bill or anything that's going to be under 200,000 is probably going to be under 2 to 3 weeks, right? And if it's really nice, if it's sharp, move-in ready, it'll probably sell and priced right, probably in that, and dependent locations of thing and how much you got in it, 250, 275 range. For sure, it'll sell within that time period. If it's under 250, you'll probably sell in a day if it's nice, and you'll probably have multiple offers. But if you have questions about that, let me know. I'm Glenn, Realty Executives in the Villages, as you can tell, here and here. Subscribe, please. And number 352-572-3796, 352-572-3796. Happy Friday, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Take care.